What's up guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eriny Jacobs, if you don't know that. Before we start this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below because it's for free. And who doesn't like to push buttons that are for free? And plus, it'll take 2 seconds from you. So hit the subscribe button. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. When the hashtag delete Facebook campaign started, people were so angry at Facebook. And the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk, deleted the Facebook accounts of both companies. Facebook lost more than $80 billion of its market value. But why did all of this happen? Duh. Because this, my dear viewer, was the largest known data leak in Facebook history. Did you not know about it? If you didn't, then you have definitely been living under a rock. Or you have been just searching for the wrong information. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people like that. Moving on. You see, 87 million users' data was leaked to a company called Cambridge Analytica, a data mining company, which is basically a company that collects information about people through their interactions on social media. And it's a very important company when it comes to political advertising. This company worked on over 200 elections across the world. The most famous and the most important one is the 2016 US presidential election that was won by the candidate that was supported from this company, Donald Trump. Cambridge Analytica was using a technique called Psychographic Analysis. So from certain responses and certain behaviors on social media, they can divide people between 5 personality traits: extroversion, agreeableness, openness, conscientiousness, and neuroticism. And based on that, they can predict the needs and the tendencies of these people. All of that so that they can know more about a person to direct the perfect advertisement for him, so he would vote for their candidate. And here comes the question: what does Facebook have to do with all of that? Like, are we talking about Facebook or are we talking about advertising? I don't know what this video is talking about right now. Calm down, man. Calm down. Let me tell you, my beautiful, not patient viewer, that Facebook has over 2.7 billion monthly users. Over 1/4 of the planet. 1/4 of the planet comments, shares, and requests friends. All of that on Facebook. 1/4 of the planet. My dear viewer, think about it. Facebook has an insane amount of information. Think about it. It would be a great loss if sociologists didn't use this amount of information to study and learn scientific facts for the benefit of the humanity. Think about it again. This is the largest human gathering in history. It's not difficult to gather information about someone on Facebook. Like, did you not stalk your ex before? I know you. I see you, man. I can hear someone saying, Eriny, can you please stop talking and get to the story? I know that you know that I'm stalking my ex, so stop outing me. I'll tell him, wait up, pal. Have some patience. Easy. I'm just trying to prepare you to receive what I'm about to say with an open heart. But not too open, because we don't want your ex to be mad. The story, my viewer, is that a researcher from the University of Cambridge created an application on Facebook. The app is basically like a quiz asking personal questions. This quiz was answered by about 300,000 people. And in order to answer the quiz, they had to sign into the application with their Facebook accounts. And that didn't just give the researcher information about these 300,000 people, but it also gave him information about their friends, who make about 87 million people. What happened afterwards was that this researcher gave these information to Cambridge Analytica illegally. And then everything went to crap. Actually, my dear viewer, as far as I understood, we can't really say if these information helped Trump win the US presidential election or not. But what we do know is that the psychology and the mood of a person can change because of very simple things. And generally, this is what Facebook studies well. Let's keep in mind that what I just said is the key to understanding today's video and to understand the largest experiments Facebook made in its history. To be honest, there were too many experiments, but I chose the coolest 4. In my opinion, of course, which you should always take into consideration. Wow, that was so narcissistic, but it's okay. We obviously know about these experiments because they were published in scientific magazines. But for sure, Facebook is already making other and bigger experiments that we don't know anything about. Anyways, the first experiment happened in 2011. And listen carefully, it happened on 29 million people. Did you hear the number correctly? 29 million. That's an insanely huge number. An advertisement of a product appeared to some of these 29 million people. And it was shown that one of their friends liked that advertisement and the other friends didn't. So these people liked this advertisement. This experiment looks very basic, and to be honest, it is very basic, and its results make absolute sense. Absolutely, when you see one of your friends liking a certain product, it's more likely for you to click on this product, watch it, and maybe you'll even buy it. And the more you like and accept and care for that friend, the more likely your chances of interacting with that product increased. But actually, what I found interesting is how in a situation like that, friends can turn into unpaid models, private influencers. How I am as a user is my name being used in an advertisement because I liked a certain page. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but some people like to be the product and some people don't. But whatever, this is still something that I find very interesting. So basically, we're all ad models to our friends on Facebook, and don't you dare say that I don't teach you anything on this channel. The second experiment might be important, but what's very impressive about it is the number. It was experimented on 250 million people. That is 250 million. This is almost the largest scientific study in the history of mankind. Can you imagine? Now one of you is gonna ask, what was this experiment about? It was basically just a follow-up of how news were spread on Facebook. So it's not that interesting to talk about. It's just talking about AI technologies, and I already talked about that in the video of how TikTok was rewriting the world. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. But the impressive and interesting thing about this experiment is the number, 250 million people. The third experiment, my dear viewer, I thought was much more interesting. They were trying to see if they can make more people take part in the 2010 election. It was experimented on 61 million people. Yes, that's less than 250 million, but that is still a huge number. It feels like it was experimented on an entire nation. Anyways, they used to put on a person's newsfeed, I voted, and that's it. And you know that your friends voted when they click on that button, and it appears to you on your newsfeed. And the result was that when people noticed that their friends voted, the chances of them taking part in the election and voting increased. Do you know why? Because people just don't want to feel like they're left out. When Facebook saw these results, it concluded that the increase of people taking part in the election wasn't much. Only 0.5%. 0.5% of 61 million. You're gonna have about more than 300,000 votes. This is gamification. Okay, maybe you're not impressed, but this is a very, very important experiment. Facebook made people that were not gonna vote just because they put a button. You're not even doing anything, it's just a button. And look at the number. 300,000 people is absolutely not a small number. The fourth experiment was experimented on 700,000 people with the cooperation with researchers from Cornell University. Some people decided to decrease their positive posts on the newsfeed, and some other people decided to decrease their negative posts on the newsfeed. And the result was, your friends' feelings affect you as well. It affects your mood and your emotional status. So what? That's a no-brainer. They are my friends and I am affected by their feelings. But what I want to point out is the power of Facebook. Your friends literally didn't do anything, but Facebook is the one who changed the priority of how posts are appearing to you and how your friends' posts are appearing to you. That means that if just Facebook decided to change the order of the posts, it can control your mental state. If that change made more negative posts appear, people's mental state will be more negative, and therefore they will post and share negative posts. And the opposite obviously goes for positive posts. If I see positive posts, I will share and post more positive posts. And that makes us conclude a very important conclusion. Very small changes can change your mood and your mental health. And I think that's a very, very terrifying conclusion. Imagine if Facebook suddenly decided that the mental state of citizens in a certain country would only be down and negative, just by the order of the posts that they see on Facebook. Make people's problems appear more. Make negative posts appear more. Do you think that the people that saw these posts might go out on the streets and start chaos, start fires, and destroy other people's cars so that this certain country would have more violence and be unsafe? There's already a lot of famous studies that say that just by changing the order of meals in a restaurant's menu. You can make certain meals more demanded. There's a great book called Nudge, written by Cass Sunstein and Richard Taylor. I hope I said their names right. These people were trying to figure out the small things that you can do to change people's behaviors. They were studying something called choice architecture. How to design choices to appear to you as if you have complete freedom at your choice, but you're actually choosing the choice that I want you to choose. I am controlling you and your choice. Like how I formulate a question, I can make you answer differently. What we said is very important because Facebook controls applications like Messenger and Instagram that take approximately 53 minutes of your day. Imagine what Facebook can do in these minutes. Imagine what it can tell you or what it will make you feel like. It can take you from left to right and from right to left. And as you can see, we're all forced on this algorithm. And some people don't even realize it. To be honest, something like Facebook with this huge amount of information is very useful, but it can sometimes be scary, especially because Facebook is very involved in our personal lives. Under Facebook, there isn't just Facebook. There is also apps like Messenger and WhatsApp, apps from which we make very personal communications with our families and friends and people that we know. The information that these apps take are not just important so that the application would give you the best performance, and not just important for companies, but it's also important for the entire humanity. We now make researches and experiments that we never dreamed of making. And it's not just because of the level of privacy that Facebook reach, but also in the huge numbers of users it has. Imagine knowing information about 2.7 billion people on the planet. If Facebook wants to make an experiment, it can make it on hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. It can make a revolution in human science. But what can happen if these information got into the wrong hands and got leaked to companies that want to help a certain candidate, or companies that want to change the mental health of citizens of a certain country to make them optimistic or pessimistic, or we need to watch Eriny Jacobs' previous videos or wait for her next video, and if they want to give her videos a like and want to subscribe to her channel. I hope to God that YouTube fixes my reach, ya Rab, and that the European Union would take it easy on Facebook and Google, ya Rab. Ya Rab, keep these apps going because I'm bored in my house, ya Rab. Ya Rab!